Okay, this is lesson 2.1. We're solving combining like term equations. The first part is the warm-up. We're not going to go over the warm-up. If you have any questions, please come and see me. I'll be able to verify your answers or answer any questions that you may have. You are responsible for having the warm-ups done. Okay, today we're going to talk about having to combine like terms before we solve equations. Right here we have an x. Right here we have an x. Same thing with problem 2. There's an x. There's an x. Whenever we have the same letters on the same side of the equal sign, we have to combine those first and then solve for x. That's why it's important you put a line at the equal sign. So now I have half A and half B. That breaks this into two different parts. So on half A, I have a negative 2x, and I have a positive 7x. So I put a box around my like terms. These both have x's. In order to combine like terms, as you remember, we add the numbers in front or combine the numbers in front and keep the letter the same. We go back to our addition and subtraction rules. These two numbers have different signs. The 7 is positive, the 2 is negative. That rule is subtract. 7 minus 2 is 5. Always keep the sign of the larger number. 7 is positive, so my answer is positive. 5x equals negative 5. Now I simply follow the rules for solving. I have to get the x all by itself. In order to do that, I got to get rid of 5. 5 is being multiplied to the x, so I undo multiplication by division. So I divide both sides by 5. Okay, so I divide both sides by 5. The 5's cancel, leaving me x equals 5 over 5 is 1. One of them is negative, negative 1. If I was going to put this back into the equation to prove that how I did it was right, I would go negative 2 instead of the x, empty parentheses, plus 7, empty parentheses, equals negative 5. Now, what goes inside my parentheses? Well, the value of x is negative 1. So wherever I see x, it is negative 1. So I have 2 times negative 1 plus 7 times negative 1 equals negative 5. I'm sorry, it was negative 2. Negative 2 times negative 1 is a positive 2. Positive 7 times negative 1 is negative 7 equals negative 5. My two numbers have different signs. That means I subtract. 7 minus 2 is 5. 7 is larger, it's negative, so my answer is negative. Negative 5 does equal negative 5, so I know that the steps I did are correct. You do not have to prove your answer like I just did unless you're asked to. Okay? So now at this time I would like you to please do number 2. Pause the video, and once you solve number 2, go ahead and start it back up to see if you did it right. Okay. Put our line at the equal sign. 6 minus 4 is 2x minus 16 equals 10. We combined like terms first. Now we're going to do exactly like we did with two-step equations. Have to get rid of my constant first. That's a negative 16, so I'm going to add 16. 2x equals 26. I divide both sides by 2. The 2's cancel. X equals 13. Okay? Number 3 is exactly the same. Number 4 is a little bit different. Nope, number 4 is the same. I'm sorry. So you can do number 4. Number 5 is the same. Number 6 is a little bit different. What's different about number 6? Well, I don't have two letters on the same side. What do I have? I have two numbers. Now, I have heard of people being taught to add 7 to both sides and then add 20. Please do not do that. That's going to mess you up as you get into more advanced algebra. You want to combine like terms. These two numbers do not have letters. If you have two numbers on the same side of the equal sign, you can add them. 10. That's what we're doing here. I have two numbers on the same side of the equal sign, so I can add them. -7 minus 20. These both have negative signs. That means we add them. 20 is negative, so my answer is going to be negative. Plus 5x equals 1. Okay? So now, how do I get this to the other side? I have to move my constant first. That means I add 27 to both sides. So these cancel. 5x equals 28. Now, I'm going to divide both sides by 5. X equals 28 over 5. Can 28 over 5 be reduced? Is there a number that goes into both 5 and 28 evenly? Excuse me. The answer is no. Do you remember back in grade school when your teacher was teaching you prime numbers? They probably didn't tell you why it's important. Maybe they did. But this is why it's important. 5 is prime. That means only 1 in 5 can go into it. So if 5 is prime, then if 5 cannot go into 28, you can't reduce your fraction. Okay, number 7 and number 8 are the same thing. Number 9 and number 10 are the same. Number 11 and even number 12 are the same that we've been doing. So that's it. That's it for 2.1. If you have any questions, please feel free to come by and see me. Thank you and have a nice day.